WFM 91.7.
And Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. All right, I hope you are feeling good today. Today is Wednesday, the 20th in the month of September 2023. Now it's about 29 minutes to the top of the hour, 12 p.m. Hopefully your day is going on well and you are feeling great today. All right, you're welcome to the program Political Arena. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Now, Political Arena is a program where we get to discuss politicking in Nigeria. And of course, as Women Radio, we get to look at it from the woman angle. All right here on the program. All right, so today on the program, we'll be looking at the violent attack by Olumide Awolumate, a case of disregard and disrespect of Ondo State VAPP Law 2021. Now, that's our topic for today. All right, now for those who have actually seen the video that is making, that has been trending since on Monday, I think, you would definitely see the acts of violence that actually happened there. There was, in fact, the Ondo Commissioner for Women Affairs sustained injuries from that attack from Olumide Awolumate. Anyway, that's what we'll be talking about today. All right, so you can be a part of the program by dialing 07000 917 Do well to call us up on 07, send a text or a WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537. Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube on WFM at WFM 917. All right, you can also follow us up on you can go to our website www.wfm917.com, download our mobile app to listen to us from any part of the world at WFM 917. All right, so yes, once again, you're welcome to Political Arena. And like I said, we are looking at the violent attack by Olumide Awolumate, case of disregard and disrespect of Ondo State VAPP Law 2021. All right, now you may have seen the viral video on social media showing a man throwing a blue chair at a woman who appeared to be with a swollen head while others tried to control the situation. Now, on September 17, 2023, the Ondo State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Olubunmi Osadohon, was allegedly assaulted by Awolumate Olumide, the Akoko Northwest Ward 1 chairman of the All Progressive Congress, during the distribution of subsidy palliatives procured by the state government. Now, the incident occurred over the allegation that the exercise was shrouded in secrecy by government officials. Now, joining me this morning to talk about the violent attack and the disregard for the Ondo State VAPP law is Mufiliat Fijabi. Now, she is the Executive Director of Sustainable Gender Action Initiative, SGAI, but we used to know her as the Executive Director of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, but now she's Executive Director of Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. Good morning, Mufiliat. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, listeners.
All right, so for one, we are so excited about this new role, being the Executive Director of Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. We congratulate you on that, and we wish you all the best on this new role. We know and we are so sure that you will do exceedingly, much more than you have done, with the Nigerian Women Trust Fund. So we wish you all the best coming from Women Radio.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for all the support from Women Radio.
All right, so let's get on straight to it. When this happened in Ondo State, we quickly saw a press statement coming from the SG AI on this. Now, I would want to start by knowing your stance, on what happened recently on the assault from this from Olumide on the Women Affairs Commission, the Commissioner for Women Affairs in that state. So when you saw this video out, what was the first thing that came to mind, and what's your stance on all of this?
Okay, thank you once again for having me. I would say that when I saw that video, I was not surprised, but I was shocked that in a state with laws that protect everyone, both men and women, from violence, that somebody could perpetrate such act. And of course, as humans, the best thing is not to injure anyone else. So I was disappointed also that whatever might have transpired, both of them could have been resolved peacefully and amicably. And no matter how tense the discussion could have been, I don't think it should lead to actual physical attack to the point of inflicting injury on the other person. It's not just because the person affected the woman,
Yeah.
but she's human, and she's further disadvantaged by the fact that in a patriarchal society, you find that oftentimes, regardless of the position of women,
Yes.
times that respect is not there. Ordinarily, if we look at it the other way around, if it were to be a man, a male, female, male commissioner, maybe that wouldn't happen. But all the same, both men, women, girls, boys should be protected from
Yes.
any form of violence. Attack, on someone's physical state or emotional state it's an abuse of the human rights of that person.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you so much, affiliates, for that. Now, this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, and it's about 23 minutes to 12. And we are looking at, the trending video of what happened in Ondo State concerning the violent attack coming from Olumide Awolumate on the Commissioner for Women Affairs, all right, in Ondo State. Now, Mufiliata just told us that, she condemned totally attack on anybody, because nobody should face such an attack. Now, let's even narrow it down. This is a Commissioner for Women, Affairs in Ondo State. She's a female. She's not just a female, she's a female politician. Now, how does this assault on female politician reflect on broader issues, of gender-based violence in our society? For you who has, been up on, on violence against women and girls too, what do you think? How does this assault on female politician reflect on the broader issues of, the gender-based violence in our society?
Okay, thank you very much for that very great questions, because I'm happy that you've been able to link it to the general acts of violence against women generally, and in particular in politics. If you look at our elections, the recently concluded one, the 2023 general elections,
Yeah.
there were instances of attack on the persons of female politicians who, of course, have raised all to be politicians and to make their voices heard. Oftentimes, they are discriminated against. They are not pushed forward in a productive way to represent political parties. And most of these women struggle, to be on the platform and on the good radar of the political parties. But it's not been so strong. And that's why there is the whole thematic area known as violence against women in politics and violence against women in elections,
Yeah.
in the advocacy around gender-based violence. We've worked with women before, and we've seen how they get attacked and how they are treated. Some of them at times even have to leave their homes, for fear of being attacked. We've seen instances of women who have been burnt to death, as we saw in Kogi around the 2019 general elections. We've seen women who have been asked to step down, from the positions they've gotten tickets for men, that they've been asked to step down for men. This is not a good development, and women's groups, women's rights activists have been speaking about this for a very long time. And the fact that we have the VAPP law of 2015 in place is not just a law that came out of nowhere. It's also a response to all these acts of gender-based violence. I know somebody will be asking that, but men also experience violence.
Yes.
That VAPP law is to protect both men and women from any form of gender-based violence. But we speak more about violence against women in politics because we are still in a patriarchal society, that the fact that women are good leaders and have the requisites to function as leaders, is yet to be fully accepted. And we've seen that to be able to advance our growth and development, we need the equal participation of men and women,
Yes.
to have a successful strategic growth. But until we accept women as leaders who have potentials to offer, we may be chasing the shadows. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a woman of the status of a commissioner being, you know, reported to have been attacked by Mr. Olumide Awolumate. We condemn this act in its entirety, and it's also a reflection of the fact that women in politics are facing a lot, and we cannot continue to fold our arms if truly we want to meet all the requirements of the sustainable um, development goals that the country as Nigeria has signed on to. So we should not take this particular instance of attack on the commissioner by Mr. Olumide Awolumate as just ordinary. It's a singular action that reflects the current state of the experiences of women politicians and as they strive to participate in the governance of the country. Yes, there are women politicians, but they actually represent those voices that we need in our governance process. And if governance does not have the voices of both men and women, it becomes challenging because the decisions will be one-sided, and the decisions won't be reflective of what actually happening in our societies generally. So, violence against women in politics is a broad area that requires more research in, and that requires intensive advocacy because you cannot discuss it without linking it to patriarchy. And patriarchy is still very strongly rooted in our cultural and religious interpretations in this part of the world.
All right, thank you so much, Mufiliat, for that. If you're just joining us, this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. All right, and this is about 17 minutes to the top of the hour 12, and we are on the program Political Arena. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser, and we are looking at the violent attack by Olumide Awolumate, a case of disregard and disrespect of Ondo State VAPP Law 2021. To be a part of the program, you can dial the number 07000 917 917. Do also send a text or WhatsApp message to 070 317 56537. All right. We are together with Mufiliat Fijabi, the Executive Director, Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. I know you would want to say, well, we know how it's been, the Executive Director of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, but yes, she has taken another role as Executive Director, Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. All right, so let's look at the VAPP law of Ondo State. Now, in 2021, I think in July specifically, if I'm not mistaken, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu signed the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act into law. Then, okay, and then he according to him, this was for everybody, just like you've just told us. It doesn't just talk on the woman alone. It protects everybody. So it is not selective. It is for everyone in Ondo State. Now, how does the Ondo VAPP law specifically address violence against female politicians, and what protection does it even offer to women in politics? Because we've established the fact that it's not just for everybody, but for the case we're looking at right now, is the assault that was perpetrated on the Commissioner for Women Affairs. Now, if what protection does this VAPP law give her? And let's look at it holistically too, against female politicians, looking at the Ondo VAPP law.
Okay, let me explain that. First, I must commend the Ondo State government.
Okay.
That they're one of the progressive states that have signed the VAPP law into operations. It's something that the people of Ondo State can quickly seek redress using that law on.
Yeah.
And of course, in seeking redress, it means that there's no vacuum in terms of the kind of protection that they can get from the law. So, like I said, by the time the law takes its full course, it's not looking at whether that person is a politician or not. Mm-hmm. It's speaking about inflicting injury, it's speaking about assault, it's speaking about the need to protect that person. So the fact that we're linking it up to female politicians, is to further buttress the fact that even though women come out to play and take part in politics,
yes,
there's no room for them to be attacked, for them to be seen as subjects of violence. This is where I want us to get clearly. The VAPP law is protecting from violence, as domesticated by the Ondo state government. It's not necessarily about female politicians. If we find a market woman, for example, now being assaulted, yes, or having injury inflicted upon her, she also can benefit from that law, or a lawyer or a doctor, whoever the person may be. So, but the good thing is that regardless of the thematic area of professionalism, that law, stands to protect these women from this kind of acts of violence, as well as men as well.
All right, thank you very much, Mufiliat, for this. All right, now let's quickly look at how this VAPP law can actually, how can we ensure that the VAPP law is consistently enforced, with prosecution that can set a good precedent, for others that might, at the end of the day, see themselves doing such, to other people. So how can we ensure that this VAPP law is consistently enforced? Right now it's ongoing in Ondo State, but how can we make sure that every other state takes cue from this and, sign in this VAPP law and see that it is something that stands and, with prosecution on anybody who attempts this on anyone at all, so that it could set, a good precedent?
Okay, the VAPP law at the national level is fully operational in Abuja,
yeah,
but with a clause that other states can domesticate the law. And almost all the states in Nigeria, have domesticated the VAPP law. So the one in reference that I was talking about now, that can be used to prosecute the case of assault, is the one in Ondo State.
yeah.
So one way to ensure that we get protection from that law is to ensure that we have visibility around it, so that when people speak about the law, they understand what it's all about. And of course, visibility and sensitization around the law would also raise awareness for the citizenry, the residents of Ondo State, to know that the law is in place. If you remember that there's a law that can catch up with you, you think twice before you commit any act,
Yes,
relating to that law. So that's the angle that we are taking it from. So sensitization, visibility, and the required mobilization to actually get the perpetrators arrested, and of course prosecuted is also very important. What I mean by mobilization is that at times when you speak about laws, there are socialization processes around it. When people see the acts relating to the laws being violated or being broken, they have the confidence to go and report. When they report, the matter is taken up. When it is taken up, necessary arrest is made, necessary filing of disputes, and all of those acts, they are very critical in this regard. And that's why I would want to say that the socialization around laws that have been enacted are also very important as much as the law. It's not just to pass and promulgate the bill into law.
okay. All right, thank you very much, Mufiliat, for this. Now, we have a question here from Rosenji Olewolimotu from Alapere. And he says, has anyone filed assault against the culprits of the Ondo violence? This is coming from him, including, the organization that you represent. So he's asking if there's anyone, because for now, I know that the local government chairman has said that they're going to dig into this, and of course, he's been suspended, from activities of the party. But so far, because I was also coming to that now, so far, has anything been done to, the culprits?
What I know is that the police is already intervening in this, and then the representative of the governor has also spoken about this, um, stating to the fact that all necessary steps will be taken to ensure that justice is done. I think the assurance is good. What we now look forward to is the realization of those assurances. In terms of the number of people that have been prosecuted based on that law so
Yeah.
far, it's not a statistics that I have readily available. However, with this particular one that has come into visibility, I am very optimistic and confident that the outcome of it will go a very long way to deter others, from committing such acts in the future.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mufilias, for that. Now, just as we round up this program, how do you think the government can encourage more women? We have government, government has a role to play. We have political parties who also have a role to play in this. Now, how can these two bodies encourage more women to get into politics and public roles, knowing fully well the risk that women might face? Because this is just one out of so many others that a lot of women have faced getting into politics or in the politics itself. So, how can we encourage more women, knowing fully well that some of these cases might still be hearing about such things happening?
One thing to do is to accept the fact that to have a good governance process in place, men and women have a role to play. So women should not be seen as intruders into politics. When they make efforts, to contest for elected positions, or they are appointed as appointees of government,
Yeah.
they should not be seen as, oh, you go back and stay at home. You are supposed to be, nursing your children and all of that. If women have chosen, to participate actively in the decision-making processes of their communities, of their countries, they should be protected by relevant laws, and they should be protected by their political parties as well. So
Okay.
we're open and looking forward to what would happen, with this kind of case, to see to the extent to which the women can be protected with the laws in place. So women should not be seen as intruder or as doing something abnormal
Okay.
when they take the decision to be active players in political processes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mufilias, for being a part of the program. Now, any last words for our listeners and for women who are listening, who want to get into politics, or women who, are looking at the Nigerian space, asking themselves, is this safe for me to get into any sector of the economy? Is it safe for me? Because at the end of the day, we have some women who might want to get into one sector or the other, but they're already thinking of what they might go through. So, any last words for this women? Because I'm sure
Okay.
a lot of them too are looking up to you.
Thank you so much. I would want to encourage them not to be afraid to step their feet into greatness by pursuing those lines of careers that they have chosen. It's not just politics that we're talking about. In all fields, we need women who can demonstrate their knowledge and professionalism. So I encourage them not to be afraid and to do the needful by making proud what they have achieved, and then also contributing their quota
Yeah.
to the development of the country.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mufiliat Fijabi, for being a part of our program this morning.
Okay, thank you very much too for having me.
All right.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, and we wish you all the best in your new role as the Executive Director of Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. We wish you all the best from WFM.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, listeners. Bye.
All right. Have a great day ahead. All right, so, well, dear listener, you have heard it from Ophelia Tvijabi, the Executive Director, Sustainable Gender Action Initiative. Now, the VAPP law is meant to punish offenders of gender-based violence in order to curb its frequency. Now, there are provisions for assault against public office holders, and we categorically tell you that Olumide Awolumate's violent attack on the Ondo State Commissioner for Women Affairs has ticked off several sections in the law. So we would keep following up on this and see how this gets to end up, because how this is actually how this is taken care of will definitely tell us what our future holds in terms of all of these assaults that might rise. All right, so very special thank you to our guest for today, Mofiliat Vijabi, Executive Director, Sustainable Gender Action Initiative, and to you also for being part of the program. Thank you so much, and thank you to our executive producer Tom Okewale. Join us again next week Wednesday for the program Political Arena, where we get to discuss politics in Nigeria. My name is Rose Yusuf Keita. Do stay tuned for the news at 12, and after that we'll have the big question come through. Do you want to stay with us right here on Women Radio, WFM 91.7? Good morning.
WFM 91.7.